So yesterday, the Nigerian Association of the National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, held what it called an inauguration. It's unclear what or who they were inaugurating. I want to imagine that it was some executive body, which has been experiencing some controversy in recent times. However, while the inauguration was going on, and we understand that Senator Ibrahim Shekarau was delivering his address because he had been invited to that particular event. Armed men stormed that particular inauguration and, there was chaos at the event. Well, this morning we have with us Mr. Henry Okwomo, who is a former Senate President of the National Association of Nigerian Students, here in our studios. Good morning and welcome to Sunrise Daily.
Good morning. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so let us start with the inauguration. We do know that there has been some controversy with the leadership of NANS in recent times. So was it a factional thing, or has that been a resolution, and this was, a coming together of all the factions to agree that there was now a leadership that they could inaugurate?
Thank you so much. Before I proceed, let me just say that in NANS, there is no faction. The reason why I said there is no faction is the segment of leadership of the organization, from the current SSA to the president on student matters, Comrade Ashefon Sunday. And he handed over the government to Comrade Usman Barambu. There was no faction as at that time. Comrade Usman Barambu declared convention open when he was leaving, and he handed over the mantle of the leadership of NANS to Comrade Pedro Chibuzo Obi, under whom I served as the Senate President. And Pedro, too, after successful one-year tenure, held a convention here in Abuja at the old parade ground, where the new inaugurated president, Comrade Atiku Issa Abubakar, was duly elected by the vast majority of the senators that was present in that convention as the president of NANS. And yesterday, inauguration was feast, having dignitaries who attended the inauguration: former governor of Kano State, Ibrahim Shekarau, former governor of Kogi State, Governor Idris Wada, and other dignitaries. There was an emir too who was present. And we choose West-Carton Hotel Hall for the inauguration. In the morning, because I was the one coordinating the process, so in the morning I was at West-Carton Hotel when Seyi Tinubu drove in. So when he left...
Seyi Tinubu, you mean the president's son?
Yes, the president's son. When he drove in to West-Carton Hotel, so I was somewhere at West-Carton and I saw him. So when he left the venue, the manager now told me that the inauguration can no longer hold in this venue, that there was an instruction from the president's son that NANS cannot hold their inauguration here. And I told him that you can't tell us not to hold our inauguration here because this particular venue has already been paid for, and we'll proceed by whatever we want to do today. Maybe after today, why they are humiliating the guy, why they are trying to coerce him to do what he's not meant to do, is what I still don't understand.
But you said earlier, Mr. Okwomo, just 1 second. You said earlier, if you can ask me.
Questions.
Just 1 second.
He stands to
just
gain
1 second, if you can hear me. But you said earlier that there is no faction of NANS, yet here you are saying that there was some factional election somewhere. Help me understand, please.
Why I said there is no faction of NANS is this. It's just like President Buhari, who handed over the government, who contested with Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi. So it is very, very appalling if Peter Obi is not parading himself as the president of Nigeria. It is not possible. Buhari was the one that handed over to Tinubu. The same way Comrade Usman Barambu who was president then, handed over the government to Pedro Chibuzo Obi, and Pedro Chibuzo Obi handed over the government to Atiku Issa Abubakar. That is just the train of the organization. So anyone who doesn't fall under this train is not a member of the organization. So if they felt that they have one power somewhere and they declare themselves as president of NANS, fine. They can be paraded there at that point. But here, I'm telling you what is obtainable in NANS as an organization. And that is what we stand for, and that is what we are doing. So we don't believe there is one fashion anywhere. The organization is one, and the only recognized president is Comrade Atiku Issa Abubakar, who has been brutalized by some men who was attached to the
Just 1 second. Now, anyone else can come up tomorrow. Since you said that there is some president somewhere of NANS, they can also come up tomorrow and say that you and the fellow you call the authentic president is the factional president of NANS, as has been reported earlier.
They don't have, even if they want to come up, they don't have any backup to authenticate their claim. Because you cannot claim what you are not. Yes. Who handed over the government to you? From whom to whom? It's just like if Atiku Abubakar said he is the president of Nigeria, people will ask him in which of the election, who is your predecessor? That is the critical questions Nigerians will ask. But as the case of NANS, the same thing happened in NANS, where Comrade Usman Barambu, who served as the lone president without no fashion anywhere, handed over the government to Comrade Pedro Chibuzo Obi, under whom I serve as the Senate president. And Pedro Chibuzo Obi declared convention open here in Abuja, duly supervised by all security agencies, DSS and police, and everybody were there. And in that convention, Comrade Issa Atiku Abubakar emerged as the president. And somebody go to somewhere else and declare himself as president. Someone who didn't even participate in that convention, in that genuine legitimate convention, declare himself as president. No, it is not done. It is not done. We have to follow the train of events, and that is what is happening here.
It's interesting because, you know, one is trying to... Can you tell us when this whole thing started? Because, I mean, I'm looking in the news now. I'm trying to find out if there has been some kind of precedence to this. The only thing that I can see is that about, less than 15 days ago, NANS was seen threatening to protest over alleged student loan diversion. How far back does this issue that you are talking about, how far back does it go? How many members of the Executive Council of the Students' Union government that you are aware of is aware of all of this situation?
Let me say, the whole stuff happened in 2023 when Comrade Usman Barambu was to hand over as the president of NANS. He declared his convention open. But maybe because they felt his ideology is not aligned with their own person, they pull out of his convention, the convention of the authentic outgoing president. And in the outgoing president convention, Pedro Chibuzo Obi emerged as the president. And Pedro Chibuzo Obi also served for 1 year. That is where I served as the Senate president. And after that 1 year, we declared convention open. I was the one that declared convention open in my Senate sitting in Delta State University, Agbo. And when the convention was declared open, we picked a date, and the date was fixed here in Abuja, February 24th. Everybody came to Abuja. We had a successful and a very peaceful convention here in Abuja, duly supervised by our security agencies. And that was the convention that brought in the new president that was inaugurated yesterday, Comrade Issa Atiku Abubakar. So I don't know if there are some persons or if there are some factions who still believe that. So me, I just believe the trend that has been coming from since 1974 that the organization has been existing for the past 43 years now, that is still the trend that we are following. And the president that is that is authentic under that order is Comrade Issa Atiku Abubakar. So every other person are some imposters.
Yeah,
so
I want to know.
The public should disregard them.
The things that you have reported, you know, as having happened at your event yesterday, you know, is a security breach. Would you, are the security agencies aware? Has a police report been filed? Because you say that somebody was injured, the president was injured. You say he was abducted, even though you say he's now been released to the care of some hospitals. It's unclear which of the hospitals, but that's what you said. Yes. So are security agencies aware of what transpired at your event yesterday?
They are aware. From the beginning, even from his first adoption, the security agencies are aware. Because he filed petitions and he has even sued them to court for...
Which of the security agencies are aware?
The police headquarters in Abuja, they are aware. The director of DSS is aware of the happenings in the organization. So they are all aware. There are petitions before them. And even the one that happened yesterday, we've reached out to the security agencies that our president has been adopted, and even every dignitaries that came there, they witnessed the whole thing, and they felt so bad about the whole situation, and their security too were there. Are
you afraid that NANS is beginning to, would you say it is losing the real reason why it was formed? Because the real reason why NANS was formed, as far as you know, we know, is that it was for the welfare and the growth of Nigerian students. Yes. But now it does appear that there is heavy political interference. And, you know, people are always very interested in who the leadership is, who they support politically, etc. Do you fear that this is making NANS lose its focus on the primary reason for why it was established?
In fact, let me say, the organization is almost losing it. Because these people have programmed the organization in the sense that if you do not have government backing, I am afraid, you might not be able to become anything in the organization, except few that still have the genuine interest of the student at heart. And that is the reason why the interest is becoming so high. Everybody is now tagging themselves to one political party or the other. The organization is already losing the purpose of its creation. And if care is not taken with the involvement of the president's son for the past 1 year, he has done everything to make sure that the organization is porous. What he stands to gain, I don't know. What he wants to achieve, I don't know. But the question I want the general public to ask him is, what is his interest in NANS? He wasn't a stakeholder. He didn't serve. He didn't school in Nigeria, because the only thing that can qualify you to be a stakeholder in the organization is if you have served in the organization. And the only thing that can qualify you to be a member of the organization is if you are a student schooling in Nigeria. You are a member. That means you have rights to contest in the organization. But if you did not fall in this category, there's no how you can term yourself a stakeholder of the organization. And you now hide under the power that you have to be terrorizing some set of people in the country that is everybody's security is meant to, everybody's meant to be secured by the president of Nigeria, the country. So I'm afraid, like you said, the organization is almost losing it. It's almost losing it. Thank you so much.
Well, we have to thank you for your contributions to the program this morning. We certainly will do our best to keep reaching out to the other side, the accusations that you have made, to see if they can, you know, verify, particularly Comrade Ladoja, you said. Yeah. You know, we'll see if he eventually responds to us, but we have to thank you very much for your contributions on the program this morning. Comrade Henry Okwomo is the former Senate President at the Nigerian Association, National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS. Thank you once more.